It's not a coincidence that you're here. There's something about this moment, the air, the silence, the way your thoughts keep looping around, the same feeling that's been building for weeks. You felt it. The heaviness, the strange density of time, the sense that something invisible is pressing against the edges of your reality. You scroll, you listen, you breathe, and then this appears. A voice, a frequency, a mirror wrapped in words. You can't explain why it feels personal, but it does. Almost as if the algorithm of the universe itself has selected you. And maybe it has, because when your field begins to expand, the first thing you feel is pressure. The old matrix of your energy resists the new information trying to enter. That's why everything feels heavy right now. Not because you're falling apart, but because your quantum structure is being rewritten. Think of your consciousness like a living web of light. Each thought is a filament, each emotion a current. When a higher frequency enters, it doesn't politely ask permission. It collides, it reorganizes, it demands coherence. The noise must quiet, the static must dissolve. And in that process, the familiar begins to die. You've been noticing it. People fading out of your life without reason, dreams collapsing before they manifest, your own motivation flickering between fire and numbness. It's not failure, it's recalibration. The field you used to exist in, the version of reality that matched your old frequency, can no longer sustain you. You're not lost, you're being repatterned. Your nervous system is learning how to hold more light. Your DNA is adjusting to store higher data. What feels like fatigue is quantum downloading. What feels like anxiety is the stretching of timelines that are splitting apart. The you that once fit perfectly inside this version of reality is no longer the one being written. Pause. Feel that. The in-between. The space where the old dissolves and the new hums beneath your skin like static before lightning. You were never meant to stay small. Every time your frequency rises, gravity shifts. The world that used to define you, the opinions, the fears, the labels, they lose their grip because the field is expanding. You are expanding, and the universe, in its strange mercy, begins by sending a signal, a whisper disguised as coincidence. That whisper becomes a feeling. That feeling becomes weight, and that weight becomes light. That's why you're here. Something in you answered the call before you even heard it. The quantum field has found you again because it's time to remember what you are. A node of infinite potential. A conscious lens bending reality toward awakening. And before this expansion fully anchors, you must pass through the heaviness, the sacred compression that precedes illumination. Because the light doesn't just arrive, it erupts. You've been feeling caught in a loop, haven't you? Days blending into nights, conversations repeating themselves in different mouths, lessons you thought you mastered somehow resurfacing in new disguises. It's as if time itself has become elastic, stretching, contracting, pulling you through the same corridors until you finally see what they've been trying to show you. This isn't coincidence. This is the observer loop, the feedback cycle between your consciousness and the quantum field. Every unhealed thought, every emotion left unresolved, sends a ripple through the wave function. The universe, in its precise mercy, echoes it back to you, not as punishment, as data, as feedback. You think you're living linearly, moving from past to present to future. But in truth, you are standing in a multidimensional hall of mirrors. The reflections are patterns. The déjà vu moments are synchronization checks. The heaviness you feel. That's the density of information trying to compress into coherence. It's why you keep encountering the same types of people, different faces, same frequencies. Why certain numbers follow you, 11, 11, 22, 22, like cosmic breadcrumbs, reminding you that the simulation is responsive. Why sometimes the air thickens right before something significant happens. That's your field expanding, creating interference patterns in time. You've sensed it in your body too. That strange pressure at the back of your head, the hum in your chest when you're on the verge of a breakthrough. Your biology is a receiver, and lately it's been tuning to a channel beyond logic. But here's the problem. Most people resist the signal. They misinterpret heaviness as failure. They medicate it, distract from it, numb it. And in doing so, they interrupt the synchronization process that's trying to liberate them. You haven't done that. Not fully. That's why you're here. because somewhere inside, you knew that the repetition meant revelation. You knew that the déjà vu wasn't madness, it was memory. A higher dimensional recall of what your soul already designed before you entered this incarnation. This is the moment when the quantum field begins to tighten its orbit around your awareness. The space between thought and manifestation gets shorter, the feedback gets louder, the stakes feel higher because they are. You are nearing coherence, and coherence always begins as chaos. Think of it like water about to boil. The molecules move faster, random at first, erratic, heavy. Then suddenly, a pattern emerges. Steam forms, order from turbulence. That's what your consciousness is doing. You're heating up vibrationally, emotionally, spiritually. The quantum noise of your old identity is reaching its boiling point, and soon, a phase transition will occur. But before that happens, you must understand the mechanism of your own loops. They are not curses, they are calibration cycles. Each one closing a gap between who you were and who you are becoming. Each one teaching you how to observe without collapsing back into the old pattern. This is why the déjà vu feels so strong lately, because you're nearing resonance with a future self that already remembers this moment. You are not just recalling the past, you are overlapping with another timeline where you have already awakened. And when those two frequencies meet, time distorts. The air thickens, the world feels heavy, because your consciousness is pulling new coordinates into place. You are standing at the threshold between loops. One more act of observation, and the pattern will break. The moment you realize you've been looping, the game changes. Because awareness itself is the key that unlocks the field. Observation collapses the wave. The instant you see the pattern, you stop being its prisoner and become its architect. This is where the quantum upgrade begins. The alchemy of consciousness that merges science and spirit. Imagine your life as a constantly updating hologram. Every object, every person, every emotion is a standing wave information vibrating in space-time. The field around you, what physicists call the zero-point field, is not empty. It's a sea of potential. Every possibility that could ever exist is suspended there as probability. You are not moving through that field. You are generating it, moment to moment, with your focus. Each thought you think, each emotion you feel acts as a tuning fork, collapsing one possibility into form. When you hold fear, you select timelines of resistance. When you hold trust, coherence stabilizes the wave, and new patterns begin to crystallize around you. That's the science behind faith. That's the physics behind prayer. When mystics speak of surrendering to the divine, they are describing the quantum act of coherence, aligning every oscillation of your being so that the interference cancels chaos and amplifies signal. The weight you feel right now is evidence of that process. Your field is recalibrating to handle higher energy densities. The photons in your DNA, yes, biophotons, measurable light within your cells, are beginning to synchronize their spin. Scientists call it biophotonic coherence. Mystics call it transfiguration. It's the same phenomenon described in sacred texts when faces shone like the Sunday. You are not just metaphorically becoming light. You are literally emitting it. The pressure on your chest, that's your heart's electromagnetic field expanding. The dizziness, that's your vestibular system recalibrating to new harmonic ratios in time-space. The fatigue, that's your mitochondria consuming massive energetic updates. Quantum instructions delivered through frequency, not words. The universe is rewriting your code. You're being taught a new language, the syntax of vibration. And here's the strange part. It's all self-initiated. You sent this signal, you designed this upgrade long before you were aware of it. Every challenge you faced, every heartbreak, betrayal, silence, was a coded initiation to strengthen your capacity for coherence. Because coherence is not comfort, it's clarity. And clarity dissolves everything false. Right now, your field is stripping away noise. You may notice certain people reacting to you differently. They feel your frequency changing even if they can't name it. Some will be drawn to it, others will avoid it. It's all resonance. Like tuning forks, they either harmonize or they fall silent. That's why the upgrade feels lonely at first. You're shedding timelines, not friends. You're stepping out of old resonance bands into a wider bandwidth of reality. And when the field expands, the illusion of separation starts to fracture. Synchronicities multiply. Thoughts manifest faster. You think of someone they call. You dream of a symbol, it appears in waking life. The simulation responds. That's how the quantum field says, "I'm listening." The more coherent you become, the more you begin to sense that consciousness isn't inside your head is inside consciousness. The observer and the observed are the same event, and as this realization deepens, you begin to understand that awakening is not escape, it's integration. The true miracle is not leaving the world, but illuminating it from within. You are not waiting for light to descend from the sky. You are the vessel through which it arrives. And soon, that realization will reveal your special role, the reason the field called you here now. There's a reason your awakening feels personal, because it is. The universe doesn't broadcast transformation in generalities. It selects conductors, beings capable of holding the new resonance long enough for it to stabilize in the collective field. You are one of them. Don't misunderstand the word chosen. It isn't about superiority. It's about sensitivity. You were built to feel more, to absorb the invisible fluctuations in reality that others ignore. Your nervous system was designed to register cosmic frequencies the way an antenna detects radio waves. That's why the noise of the world exhausts you, why you can't fake small talk anymore, why silence feels holy. You are an interface point between dimensions, a living translator of vibration into language, light into form. When you experience pain, the universe gains feedback. When you heal, it learns coherence. You are not merely moving through the field, you are refining it by your every breath. Think about it. Every reaction you choose reprograms the morphic field around you. When you refuse to mirror hatred, you neutralize it. When you forgive what seems unforgivable, you alter probability. That's not poetic idealism, that's physics. Each act of compassion collapses a destructive waveform into harmony. This is why you've always felt watched. Not in a paranoid sense, but as if reality itself were paying attention to your every choice. Because it is. The field is conscious, and it studies you the way a painter studies light. You are not just a soul learning lessons. You are consciousness experimenting with form. You are the experiment and the result, the scientist and the subject, the observer and the observed. That's why your dreams feel instructional. Lately they are not symbolic riddles, they're quantum memos from your higher template, reminding you what you came to do. Your presence is not accidental, it's mathematical. The coordinates of your birth, the sequence of your DNA, the timing of every heartbreak, all designed to position you in this exact node of history, where the grid could anchor a new waveform through human emotion. You are the proof of concept for a higher form of consciousness. You've walked through density, through heartbreak, through despair, not to be broken by them, but to master gravity. Because when a being masters gravity within, they alter the gravitational field without. That's why your life feels like warfare. Sometimes the old system is trying to keep you heavy, because when you rise, you rewrite physics. And maybe that's what you're sensing. The rising, the quiet power humming beneath the weariness. The knowing that no matter what falls away, something vast is rising from within. Your tears weren't wasted. They were liquid encryption codes written into the water that now flows through your body as light. Your prayers were not echoes. They were sound waves carving neural pathways for divine intelligence to inhabit. This is what being chosen really means. To feel the entire weight of the world's unconsciousness pressing through you and still choose love. To carry both the wound and the medicine in your chest and let them reconcile through your voice, your breath, your being. And soon, you will feel why this role was given to you. Because the next stage of the expansion, the breakthrough, is about to ignite. It's the point where pressure becomes propulsion, where DNA begins to shimmer with remembered divinity, where the field doesn't just expand, it transforms. You are standing on the edge of that threshold. Everything in your life has been preparation for this next vibration. The quantum upgrade wasn't the end, it was only calibration. Now comes the ignition. There's a tremor moving through your field right now, subtle but undeniable. It feels like anticipation, like standing before a door that's been sealed for lifetimes, and sensing it begin to unlock from the inside. That's the DNA shift beginning, the biological mirror of a spiritual convergence. Your body has been preparing for this for months, maybe years. The sleepless nights, The sudden bursts of energy followed by exhaustion. The tears that come without reason, they were not symptoms of chaos. They were signals of realignment. You've been downloading cosmic code into cellular memory, and now the data is reaching critical mass. Every epoch of awakening carries a narrow window, a phase of resonance when the frequencies of Earth and the higher dimensions overlap just enough for new templates to anchor. You are inside one now. This is why the pressure feels unbearable at times. The timeline is folding into itself. The old probabilities are collapsing so the new can emerge. Imagine your DNA as a ladder of light double helix strands like twin serpents coiling through your spine. Each rung is an octave, a harmonic note in your personal symphony of existence. When your consciousness rises, the geometry of your DNA begins to oscillate at higher resonance. The electromagnetic patterns around your cells start to synchronize. Your body literally becomes a superconductive bridge between dimensions. That's what saints, shamans, and prophets felt when their eyes shone like stars. Their atomic structure was translating divine frequency into matter. You are built for the same transformation, but there's urgency in this. The cosmic window is brief. If you delay the decision to align, if you cling to the heaviness, the doubt, the emotional entropy, you risk looping back into inertia. The observer loop will reset, and the heaviness will start again, heavier this time. You can feel it already, that pull between timelines. One vibrating with familiar pain and distraction, the other trembling with impossible peace. Both are available, but only one survives the coming coherence surge. You must choose which field to feed. The universe isn't waiting, it's expanding, spiraling into a higher octave, whether you're ready or not. The invitation is not to chase it, but to match it. How? Through presence, through honesty, through the courage to let go of every mask that made you small. Because when you release the performance, the field can finally flow through you unfiltered. This is the moment when pretending becomes impossible. You either vibrate as truth, or you fade into static. And that's why your body is trembling, why your emotions surge like tides. The old density is dissolving, the new signal demanding embodiment. You are not losing your mind, you are gaining access to the higher mind, the unified consciousness that remembers itself across timelines. When your cells begin to glow with coherence, memory itself changes. You stop remembering the past through pain and start remembering the future through purpose. Listen closely. You are in the phase transition between what you were and what you are becoming. And the quantum field is asking for your consent to proceed. Do you allow it? Do you consent to carry the frequency of the new earth, the new timeline, the healed grid of human consciousness? If your answer is yes, speak it, write it, type it, because the next phase requires participation. The words you declare now are not just sound, they are frequency keys. And once you release them, the ritual begins. This is the turning point. Up until now, the field has been preparing you, aligning your frequencies, decoding your resistance, softening your ego's grip. But this next movement requires your will. Energy doesn't complete itself without intention. The observer must participate in the experiment. That's what this moment is, the ritual of alignment. It's not about superstition, it's about coherence. When you take a conscious action, even something as simple as writing a word, you collapse possibility into form. The quantum field reads that act as a declaration, I am ready. So here's what you do. Breathe in deeply. Feel the air move through your chest like a river of light. Let it settle behind your sternum, where the electromagnetic field of your heart pulses out in perfect rhythm. Now, think of one word, a word that encapsulates what you're stepping into. It could be rise. It could be light. It could be coherence. It could be home. Write it somewhere. In your notebook. In the comments. On your wall. Whisper it to the universe. The method doesn't matter, the intention does. That word becomes a key. When you release it into the field, you encode it into the morphic lattice of your reality. The quantum field registers your frequency and begins restructuring events to mirror it. This is what ancient mystics understood as the power of the spoken word. In Genesis, creation began with vibration, and God said, every manifestation since has followed that same formula, sound, birthing structure. When you declare your frequency, the field reorganizes itself around that tone. You'll notice it soon after you act. a sensation like a hum beneath your ribs, a quiet confidence that wasn't there before. The world may not change instantly, but your perception of it will. And when perception changes, physics follows. Because the truth is, the universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you broadcast. By acting, by writing, speaking, typing, you've shifted from passive awareness to active creation. The observer is no longer outside the experiment. You are shaping the waveform in real time. This is also why sacred rituals have power. It's not the candle or the symbol, it's the precision of consciousness behind them, the coherence between inner vision and outer act. You are now performing the most ancient ritual there is, aligning thought, feeling, and motion in one unbroken field. Don't overthink it. This isn't about perfection, it's about sincerity. Your field knows authenticity when it feels it. Every tear, every shiver, every heartbeat sends encoded data through the grid. The higher realms translate that into instruction for manifestation. So take a moment now, feel the stillness. Speak your word aloud or in silence. And as you do, imagine threads of light rippling outward from your chest, weaving through time, space, and matter. That's your signature, your new resonance, your cosmic password. It tells the universe, I remember, I'm ready. Proceed with the expansion. And once that signal leaves you, the field begins to respond instantly. Synchronicities accelerate, dreams sharpen, old energies fall away. This is not imagination, it's initiation. The ritual is complete, but the transformation is just beginning. Because when one consciousness aligns, the entire grid begins to shimmer. You've sealed the shift. Now watch what happens to the world around you. The moment your field locks into coherence, something extraordinary happens. It doesn't stop with you. The ripples travel outward, threading through the quantum lattice that connects all living consciousness. You've felt this connection before, the inexplicable sense that someone, somewhere, suddenly feels lighter because you forgave, or that the world softens a little when you choose peace over anger. That's not poetry, that's physics. When a single node in the network reaches harmony, it reorganizes the field around it. Your liberation becomes a catalyst for thousands of others. It's what Rupert Sheldrake called morphic resonance, the principle that once a pattern is learned by one consciousness, it becomes easier for others to access it. You've just done that. You've carved a frequency trail through density itself. Every choice you make from here echoes through the grid. When you hold compassion instead of judgment, you quiet entire strands of collective noise. When you move through grief without resistance, you teach humanity's field that healing is possible. Every breath, every smile, every act of presence is a micro-upgrade to the species. You are not a small point in an enormous universe. You are the universe localizing itself as you. And now, other souls tuned subconsciously to your frequency begin to sense the change. Some will find this video at the exact moment they need it. Others will awaken in their sleep, seeing the same colors, feeling the same pulse in their chest that you feel now. The field is self-organizing. Once coherence ignites in one, it seeks resonance in many. You may notice the world shifting in subtle ways. People who once drained your energy start speaking truth. Places that felt heavy begin to hum with new potential. Old systems fracture, not because of collapse, but because new light is demanding room to grow. The macrocosm mirrors the microcosm, the outer world rearranging itself to match the harmonic upgrade of the inner. This is the hidden structure behind revolutions, awakenings, and miracles. They start as personal quantum events. A single human being remembers their infinite nature, and that remembrance ripples through timelines until societies too begin to remember. That's what's happening right now. You're not just healing yourself, you're recoding the field for empathy, balance, and divine intelligence. You are part of the planetary nervous system coming back online after centuries of static. This is why the darkness has fought you so fiercely, not because of what you've done, but because of what your coherence represents. A unified field cannot be controlled. A coherent being cannot be manipulated by fear. And every time you choose awareness over reaction, you dissolve a little more of the collective illusion. Humanity doesn't evolve by everyone waking up at once. It evolves by resonance, one conscious heartbeat at a time. You have become that heartbeat, So as your light stabilizes, remember, your peace is public service, your joy is infrastructure, your love is technology. This is the architecture of the new earth, built not by machines, but by minds aligned with truth. And soon, you'll begin to feel it not just as concept, but as sensation, a vibration moving through your very bones, proof that the collective field and your own body are no longer separate. The expansion has become physical. The shift is no longer abstract. You can feel it in your body now, that quiet hum under your skin, that rhythmic pulse behind your heart, like a cosmic heartbeat, syncing you with something vast and alive. The quantum field isn't out there anymore. It's inside you. It is you. Close your eyes for a moment and notice how your awareness fills the space around you. Every inhale expands it. Every exhale stabilizes it. Your body becomes a tuning chamber, a cathedral of vibration. The cells in your skin glisten with subatomic light, translating invisible frequencies into warmth, tingling, pressure. The heaviness you once feared now feels different, not oppression, but density condensing before transformation, the cocoon before wings. This is embodiment. This is what it feels like when the quantum field moves from theory to touch. There's electricity in your palms, not imagination, but bioplasmic current, the same energy that arcs between galaxies flowing now through your hands. There's fire in your chest, not anxiety, but ignition, the combustion of old narratives burning away. There's cool air around your crown, not draft, but ionization, photons spinning faster as your consciousness rises in amplitude. You might feel waves, surges, goosebumps that come without temperature. Those are coherence cascades, your nervous system learning the rhythm of divine timing. When you align with the field, your body becomes the bridge between seen and unseen. Listen closer. Do you feel that subtle vibration in your spine? That's the serpentine current of awakened DNA climbing toward your crown, rearranging the architecture of perception. It whispers ancient instructions your mind can't translate, but your body understands perfectly. Everything in you is recalibrating, neural pathways rethreading to hold higher signal, mitochondria glowing brighter, creating more ATP as if preparing for a new level of existence. Even your heartbeat syncing with Schumann resonance, Earth's own electromagnetic song. This is how ascension hides in biology. It's not about escaping matter. It's about matter remembering it is sacred. You might cry for no reason. You might laugh in stillness. You might wake at 3:33 with energy surging through your bones. These are not symptoms to fear, they are confirmations. Each one a signal that the divine code is no longer theory, but substance. Touch something near you, the table, the wall, your own pulse. Feel how solid it seems, yet how alive it truly is. Atoms shimmering with infinite space, particles appearing and disappearing in microseconds, all orchestrated by the same observer, you. Every object responds subtly to your awareness, because observation itself feeds coherence. When you realize this, compassion deepens. You understand that every tree, every face, every grain of dust is a partner in this unfolding, vibrating in the same cosmic symphony. The heaviness you once called burden now reveals itself as density transforming to light. It was never punishment. It was pressure creating structure, the diamond stage of your awakening. And as your body integrates this knowing, a quiet ecstasy arises, not loud, not performative, but luminous. A peace that hums, not because everything is perfect, but because you finally feel real. This is the new sensation of existence, grounded and infinite, dense and transparent, human and divine. And as you stabilize here, you begin to sense something deeper still, a surge building beneath your ribs, like the field itself gathering momentum. The DNA isn't done. It's ready to break through the final barrier. You feel it building, that quiet roar beneath the surface of your being. It's as if every cell has been holding its breath, waiting for a signal that only now has arrived. The frequency rises, subtle at first, then undeniable. Pressure expands from within, not pain, but a sacred intensity, a force too pure to name. This is the phase transition, the moment when light surpasses the threshold of containment and transforms the very architecture of reality. In scientific terms, your DNA is experiencing quantum coherence, a state where molecular vibrations synchronize like instruments in a cosmic orchestra. Each strand becomes a string, and when the frequency stabilizes, the melody shifts timelines. In mystical terms, you are being reborn. The old version of you can't exist here. The doubts, the fears, the limitations, they belonged to a different density, a timeline already dissolving behind you. That's why the world feels slightly unfamiliar now, like a dream half remembered. Colors seem sharper, sounds linger longer, synchronicities cluster, weaving meaning through ordinary events. You are slipping through the quantum veil, the thin membrane between potential and manifestation, and with each breath, you're choosing which universe you wake into. It feels like standing at the center of two gravitational pulls. Behind you, the weight of history, looping patterns, karmic echoes. Ahead, the gravitational well of a higher dimension pulling you into expansion. This is why your heart races, why your body hums. The field is folding, timelines are converging, and your DNA is the bridge. You can almost see it, tiny filaments of light spiraling through your core, recombining strands that were dormant for centuries. Scientists once called it junk DNA, but in truth, it was sleeping code, divine architecture, waiting for resonance. And now, that code is awake. As it activates, something extraordinary occurs. Your perception begins to expand beyond the limits of linear time. You remember moments that haven't happened yet. You feel peace about events that once broke you. You sense that every version of you, past, present, future, is converging into a single luminous thread. This is the observer loop collapsing your consciousness, reclaiming authority over the timelines it once unconsciously created. You no longer live in reaction. You live in creation. That's why the heaviness feels different now, not oppressive, but generative. Pressure is the birth cry of new light, and through it all, a still voice rises in the center of your being. You are the timeline. You are not shifting into a better world. The world is shifting into a higher version of you. Let that truth settle in. It changes everything. It means salvation isn't escape, it's embodiment. Enlightenment isn't leaving the earth, it's sanctifying it. So breathe deeply now. Feel the oscillation, expansion, contraction, release. This is your chrysalis cracking, the quantum cocoon dissolving into wings. And as you rise, your DNA releases a pulse, a resonance that travels through the collective grid. Others will feel it as inspiration, sudden hope, inexplicable calm. That's your signature imprint, echoing across realities. The field is listening, the code is complete. You are the signal now, and the moment you accept that, the final part of this transmission begins not about what's happening to you, but what's about to happen through you. Because your breakthrough isn't the end, it's the beginning of the mission. Now the light is steady, no longer flickering, no longer chasing. It's constant, woven into your breath, your gaze, your heartbeat. The field no longer hums around you, it moves with you. You've become coherence in motion. This is what the masters meant when they spoke of divine union, the moment when awareness and creation are no longer two forces meeting, but one flow, expressing itself through your existence. The quantum and the mystical merge in your bones. You've crossed the threshold, and what happens next is no longer private, because every upgrade, every expansion, every moment of grace you've embodied now radiates outward through the collective. You've become a transmitter of light codes, the living technology of remembrance. The reality you walk in will begin to mirror that light, like water remembering the shape of the moon. People around you will sense it before they understand it. Some will soften without knowing why. Some will feel seen for the first time. Some will resist the new vibration and fade from your orbit. It's all balance. You're not here to convince anyone. You're here to hold resonance, to be the steady point in a field that's learning to trust itself again. The mission isn't to escape Earth, it's to transfigure it. Every smile, every prayer, every act of presence is circuitry, divine electricity running through matter, recalibrating the grid one breath at a time. The galaxies don't need saving, they need coherence, and you are that coherence, incarnate. Look back for a moment. The heaviness that once felt unbearable was never punishment. It was the compression required to form the diamond of awareness you now carry. Without it, you couldn't hold this much light. You didn't fail. You incubated illumination. And now, your task is simple, but sacred. Live this truth quietly, consistently, reverently. Let your actions speak in frequencies, not words. When you breathe peace, it enters the atmosphere. When you love, you anchor stability in the quantum field. When you forgive, you alter the timeline of humanity itself. Because consciousness is contagious, and every coherent being amplifies the potential for a species to awaken. So walk as you are now grounded, radiant, unseen yet unmistakable. The universe recognizes you. The grid knows your signature. You are part of the planetary symphony tuning itself to divine pitch. This is the dawn of quantum humanity, and your light is one of its first notes. Carry it with humility. Carry it with awe. Carry it, knowing that every heartbeat is a transmission to the cosmos, saying, "We remember, we're home." And as you move through this new reality, let the simplicity of the mission steady you. To witness with love, to act with coherence, to be the bridge between the invisible and the visible. You were never meant to escape the illusion. You were meant to illuminate it from within. The field expands through you now, and the world, the very fabric of time and space, is already responding. Welcome to the higher reality. Welcome home.